are Macaws cuddly birds, especially when they grow up. Now, this right here is Rachel, my blue and gold macaw, and she's 12 years old, and she's quite cuddly at the moment. But that is not to say that all macaws will remain cuddly. Macaws, when they are babies, can be really mushy and hands-on and almost like a giant plushie or stuffed animal. It's one of the big appeals to the macaws is that they can be quite friendly and they can be so hands-on and cuddly. But don't let that mislead you. As macaws grow up, as they reach maturity, 5, even closer to 10 years old, they can become quite aggressive and they can overbond to one person and treat others as the enemy or even everyone as the enemy. So to avoid that type of aggression and to be able to handle a macaw both as a youngster and as they grow up, parrot training is just super beneficial. Check out my book, The Parrot Wizard's Guide to Well-Behaved Parrots, where you can learn how to use positive reinforcement training exercises to help you both develop a good hands-on relationship with your bird initially, as well as to be able to maintain it into adulthood. Now, my advice is if you do have a young, mushy blue and gold macaw, or any macaw for that matter, enjoy it, but don't take it for granted. A big mistake is to just assume that the bird loves you and that it's going to stay like that. A lot of people think that just because their 2-year-old macaw, their 1-year-old macaw, even a 3-year-old macaw lets them cuddle and pet it, that they're in. And even though that macaw might continue liking that person for the long run, that does not mean that it will accept cuddling and head scratches and contact into adulthood. This is where using positive reinforcement training exercises where we deliberately teach them to accept our hands, allow us to touch them, where we teach them to practice having us open their wings and touch them on the tail. And do these as deliberate exercises helps maintain the conditioning and the handling so that they can be at ease and actually enjoy the cuddles rather than being tense, aggressive, jealous, and having some of that adult angst that macaws can develop later on. When thinking about a macaw, it's a great idea to experience some adult macaws in making that decision and not solely basing it on how they are as babies. After all, they grow out of the baby phase, but they can maintain their adulthood for decades to come. Oh, and they do poop every 10-15 minutes, so gotta be ready for the mess. But to experience what they're like as an adult, visiting a parrot rescue is a great way to see what they're really like in the long run as adults and not just being misled by the babiness, which is surely going to wear off. Seeing adult macaws at a rescue, biting at the cage bars, lunging, trying to feed their feet, being aggressive, isn't a sign that they were neglected or poorly treated necessarily. This is just a sign of what macaws can end up like as they get older and mature. So learning about those long-term behaviors can help you making a more informed decision. But on the other hand, don't necessarily accept that just because a macaw is older that you can't have a great relationship. It doesn't mean that a macaw can't step up or learn to accept and even enjoy head scratches and contact and interaction from both the primary caretaker as well as the entire family. This is where, again, parrot training can really help to develop a relationship, whether that macaw is 1-year-old, 5 years old, or 50 years old. It is so beneficial. So this right here is Rachel, 12-year-old blue and gold macaw. She wasn't even my macaw starting out, she was my wife's bird, but through positive reinforcement training, I've been able to develop a relationship with her as well and maintain it into adulthood. So be sure to check out the free videos, articles, guides, and supplies to help you befriend any parrot at parrotwizard.com.